Hello there, my beautiful thinking people. This is your host, Clyde Phillips, Senior of Advocation X, and I have a topic for you today. What I'd like you to do, hit that like button, subscribe, become a member, share these videos with everyone you meet. We need to beat that algorithm. What we're finding out is only 1% of all creators on YouTube actually get to a point where they can reach numbers of people. And the only way that happens is with support from people like you. So, today's topic. Wait, did you hit the like button? Have you subscribed? The vast majority of you guys are not participating as much as you could. I know some of the topics here are controversial and may attach some stigma if people know that you're watching me. But I would suggest that everybody understand, with an open-minded attitude, that even the people that I quote, I don't believe or subscribe to everything they say. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore the good bits of information that they put out. Having said that, let us begin. Let's speak on behalf of those who have a major complaint with immigration. They don't like immigration. They feel that it's infringing upon their jobs, their rights. Immigrants are getting way more or preferential treatment from their governments over what they get. And this is what I'd like to tell you all, those of you who have a difficulty with it. Start having babies. Isn't that a difficult thing? If you don't start having babies in large numbers, you will always need immigration. And why, you ask? Well, let me put it this way. Understanding that it is your fault, and only your fault, that you need immigration, you can figure this. Without having enough babies, your population drops. You need a certain amount of babies in order to make sure that you can at least replace yourselves. 2 people living out their life, having 1 baby, in their lifetime will half the population. And then again, half the population. Okay, and that doesn't even consider the fact of disease, accidents, wars, acts of violence. So let's say, just to maintain half depletion of the population, you need 1.6 children. You can start to see what I mean. You need to start participating if you want your countries to continue growing. And if you don't want them to grow, don't participate. In my opinion, get out there and start servicing your partners on a regular basis. Enjoy the wonderful life of raising children. I've had a few, and I've loved every minute of it. In my opinion, you're all participating in a blame game. And when you blame others, remember, when you point that finger at them, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. So, what is it you're going to use to be able to stop immigration? You're going to go and have babies and raise them well. And hopefully they'll be good members of your society and help it to grow. Because you see what's happening. When your population ages, you need more and more children to be able to grow into those roles of participating in paying the taxes that will keep the older population thriving. If you don't have the children to do so, they don't turn into adults, they don't pay into the tax system, you will perish. How about seeing mounds of 70 and 80-year-olds scrounging on the streets for little scraps of anything because you didn't want to have another child? Because you thought your freedom to run around the world and do things that are interesting but not useful left your country in a lurch. Stop blaming, do something about it. That's my opinion thus far. So here's one of the biggest problems with our immigration system, that I'm sure if you're complaining about it, you would be in the right. One thing that nobody does is properly vet those people who are immigrating into someone else's country. And I don't care whose country you're going into or where you're coming from, there needs to be a vetting process. Our system is absolutely archaic and foolish. You just dump a whole bunch of people into the society. You don't help them any tools that will help assist them in integrating. You don't show them any rules of etiquette. So they just storm into the communities and they do things that they're used to doing, which were not a problem where they came from, but they don't fit with your best case scenario. Okay, that comes from learning, folks. Everyone needs to be taught what is necessary in order to fit in wherever they go. That doesn't mean you have to brainwash them. That doesn't mean that they have to do everything in the world just like you do it. But they need to at least be able to understand how to respect their surroundings, what to do when they enter into certain establishments, how to deal with the roads and the etiquette on the roads. These things could go a long way in stopping the complaints, the harassment, and the hatred that goes on because of immigration. So because of our foolish ways of trying to integrate, or should I say, trying to force people to integrate in a certain way, we need to understand our system doesn't work. So let's look at this from a different angle. You're here in Canada, which is considered the Western world, or you're in the US, again, considered the Western world. Do you know that you guys would not fit in most other cultures unless you get some sort of information, training on how to conduct yourself there? In Canada, you're allowed to smoke marijuana, which is now legal. What would happen to you if you brought some marijuana to Saudi Arabia, perhaps, and you wanted to integrate there, and you have a brick of marijuana sitting in your room? One person smells the scent of you smoking your marijuana, or it just sitting there, and you could find yourself in jail for life. Now, what would the people of Saudi Arabia be saying about you? That you're a fool. They don't want people like you in their country. They don't want all these things to cause them aggravation. They don't want to smell your weed. There'd be all kinds of complaints. So everybody needs to learn how to best cope with the area that they've entered into. That would help all of us when it comes to immigration. It would help those who don't like it. It would help those who love it to see people thriving and enjoying themselves in an environment that they find absolutely fascinating and interesting. Would be better than seeing them cower and walk around with their heads down, afraid of what people are going to say to them or do to them. Save a lot of people from going to jail. Save a lot of aggravation. So again, just a simple thing that can be done that would really help change the immigration situation around the world. I'm sorry, but right now I got to get in your face, because the reality is a lot of people who complain about immigration, they're not complaining about the fact that people aren't properly integrated. They're actually harboring some real hatred and biased opinions about the people who are coming into their country. What would we call them? Right now, on the world stage, we call them racists. Okay, if you're a racist, that's okay. Just admit it. Don't sit back and pretend like you're somebody you're not. If you can't stand other ethnicities, if you can't stand other religions, if you can't stand other skin colors, well then admit it to yourself. And don't go around as if you've got some other reason to hate these people. These people are coming in, a lot of them, because they actually have aspirations of doing better for their families. Is that not what you would want for yours? Face your own bias, look in the mirror, be able to deal with yourself on that level, and then I think you'll be much more capable of dealing with the situations that are going on around us without feeling all this anger, animosity, and hatred. Try that. If it works for you, I'll take your thank you down the line. If it doesn't work for you and you prefer to live in a hateful, horrible aura society, then go for it. If you're looking to push everybody to the brink of warfare in order just for them to survive, well then, hey, that's you. You do you. But at least be honest with yourself. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to the immigrants that are coming into your country. Solutions. I've heard it said that the best way to deal with the immigration process is to deport everyone who isn't of native ancestry on the land. Well, that could work, but guess what? Everybody would be deported because none of yous were actually ancestrally on this land. That's the entire North America, actually, most of the entire world. So ask yourself a question. Is that actually a good, viable option? Some people think that murdering everybody who doesn't agree with their culture and their attitudes is okay. Because guess what? That eliminates the problem. You no longer have hatred towards people who are not alive or not there in front of you. Folks, it doesn't work. Because then you would have to be putting yourself to a sentence of death as well. Because those who were here before you, that would be their only option to get you out of their face. So be careful what you wish for. Those of you who have read the Bible, remember the case of the Pharaoh in his denial and his hardened heart to not listen to Moses. And he condemned his firstborn to death because of his stubborn hatred. So what is the moral conclusion of this video? Let us all learn from the past, or repeat it like fools. If you learn from the past, you'll realize that getting along works way better, as you've seen in the past few decades, than constantly having wars and disagreements with everybody around you. I want to hear your suggestions. How do you think this problem can be dealt with? Is there anything you can add to what I've already put forward? Or is there anything that you don't like about what I've said? Put it in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer each and every one of your concerns. If there's one thing you can remember about me, the one thing that I tell everybody to stick by is we never give up. And we never give in. However, we'll always keep an open mind. Why do we keep an open mind, folks? Because that's the only way we can gather knowledge. And gathering knowledge is the only power we will ever truly have on this earth. So, don't give up your power. And hey, by the way, stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay as happy as humanly possible. Don't forget the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. And remember, I love you all.